Brown is controlling the crap out of Meri once again on Sister Wives. Oh my god, you guys, this is freaking unbelievable. Sister Wives was on not so long ago, and I'm telling you guys, I am about this far from just stop watching the show. It's that unbelievable. If you guys think I am dramatic, you guys need to see Kody Brown, because this guy's freaking out of his mind. And in the last episode, so much random crap with Kody and all the Sister Wives went down, but the first thing we gotta talk about is what Kody was doing with Meri, of all people, because it's like they aren't even freaking together at this point, basically. They're really not even in a, polygamous marriage. They're never even together anymore, but in this last episode, the guy was controlling her like it was just them two, and like they were actually married. So this is what was going on. We got to see them in the middle of the pandemic. It was in March. That was when all the craziness happened last year with the pandemic, and of course, Meri's daughter, her only daughter, was in Chicago with her fiance, and that's where at the time, that's where the big cities, New York, California, everyone kind of thought that's where all this hot spread was going on of the pandemic, was in these big cities. So obviously, Meri, being a normal mother that she is, she wanted her daughter to get out of there. And Meri's daughter, let me just say, her daughter and her fiance, they were planning on moving eventually, then the pandemic hit. So that's kind of how it all flowed together. But they were like, okay, we don't know what is going on. They've heard rumors at that time that they might like lock down the states, which I thought that was going to happen, never did happen. But they thought that they were going to, so they could have gotten stuck in Illinois. It was definitely a very scary situation at the time, and so they didn't know what to do. So Meri was like, okay, I'm going to get on a plane and go fly to you guys and then help you guys pack your bags. And it wasn't just like a clothes or two. It was like they had a freaking, a couch, a kitchen, they had a long table, they had a bunch of crap. They had to literally rent a moving truck to move to Flagstaff, and Meri was like, I'm going to get on a plane right now tonight and come see you. However, she ended up calling Kody, which was her first mistake right there, because remember, Kody is also Mariah Brown's dad. I mean, that is her dad, which is so weird for me to say, because I feel like Meri and Kody have like nothing at this point. They're not even in a real relationship, but not even technically, they do have a kid together. So anyway, Meri did call Kody. Kody came over. Kody was acting like he was like social distancing, but it's like, we got to see Kody go to like 15 different houses in this last episode, but he came over to Meri's, and that's when they were talking to Mariah and Mariah's fiance. And basically, Kody just put his foot down and was controlling her and saying, absolutely not. You are not going to go to Chicago, because you going to Chicago puts me and kind of even the rest of the family, he was saying, at risk, because you don't realize you could go there, you could pick something up, then you come back to us, and of course, Kody, he's always worrying about himself. And so he was freaking out and said, absolutely not. And even Meri, she was like, I don't even feel like I have a say in this. She was, I am a mom, I am a full-grown adult, and I feel like she wanted to say, and I'm not even married to that guy, and here he is trying to control me. Now, in retrospect, it's probably best she didn't come, and thank God, spoiler alert, but Mariah and her fiance did make it to Flagstaff perfectly fine. They didn't have any issues, thank God, but Kody put his foot down, and Meri was freaking mad. So comment below what y'all think of that. Me personally, like I said, they're not even really married. They're not even in a relationship. I think Meri is just spaced out of this whole thing. She's probably talking to another man, if I had to guess. It happened years earlier, and it's probably happening again, because she does not seem to give a crap whatsoever about Kody, and Kody definitely does not seem to care about her at all. So it's kind of weird to see him be all like, of a control freak kind of with Meri, when they really have not even a relationship going on at all. But definitely make sure to comment below what y'all think, if you agree or disagree with me on that one. And oh my god, you guys, the drama was just starting. The drama was freaking going in this episode, and it's all with Kody. I wish I could have Kody on this channel, because this guy is freaking off his rocker. He is insane. And so we got to see Kody run around. He was just trying to wrap his head around the idea of the pandemic. One second he was saying this is the scariest thing in the whole world, but the next second he was saying we have nothing to worry about, nothing is going on, and we should just try to not watch the news and just kind of keep to ourselves. So he was all over the freaking place. And of course, to make matters even worse for Kody, he travels literally for life, because he has 4 wives and they don't live in one house, if you don't already know. So he has to travel to all these different wives' houses on a regular basis, and that's when we got to see Janelle put her foot down, and Janelle just said, hey, Kody, I don't want you coming here. Now, the thing I'll say about that is she kind of did it in a very, polite way. Her reasoning was this. She said, look, my 2 boys, one's working, one is still going out and about with his friends, and I don't want Kody to come here, get sick, and then pass it to the rest of the family, which that is a very, what is the word I'm looking for? Nice? Is that, I feel like there's not, what's the opposite of selfish? Not not selfish? I don't even know. If you can't tell, I'm a freaking moron, but she was being very kind of thinking that because she was looking out for Kody. But Kody took it as this big insult, and oh my god, this is the end of the world, and this is so rude, this is horrible. But I'm like, honestly, Kody, Janelle, she's being polite and nice and kind by not wanting you to get sick. So I was like, that was actually kind of nice of her, but Kody took it completely the wrong way. And then Robin, of all people, she took it the wrong way, which is really freaking stupid, because like I was saying earlier, Kody was at one point, he was freaking out, then he wasn't, he was going back and forth, but like I was trying to say, and I completely forgot, Kody's 4 wives, they were totally divided. You could see Robin, she was freaking out. She claims that her and her son are high risk. And then we got to see Janelle didn't care. Honestly, Janelle did not care at all at first. She might have cared a little bit more later on, but she was even still kind of saying, this is, you know, the kids are going out and about, and she wasn't like freaking out by any means. Robin was very nervous. Meri didn't care at all. And Christine was kind of in the middle. I think she kind of cared, but she didn't really seem to care that much either. It was more just, honestly, Robin. So Kody was obviously caught in the middle, because if you don't know, Robin's his favorite wife, so he was trying to kind of play both sides, but either way you looked at it, no one was really happy, and they were not getting along. They were not agreeing, and Kody was basically trapped at Christine's house. And that's when he was supposed to go to Janelle's, but Janelle said, no, 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 you cannot come over. I don't want you to come over. And then that was why I found it so weird, because that's when Robin was like, well, I think the family should still get together, which was like, wait, what? Because like a minute earlier, she was freaking out about everything going on, but now it's like, you want everyone to come together. So it didn't make any sense. I don't know where she was coming from. Meri did not seem to care whatsoever. Christine, she was just kind of there. The only funny thing that really happened with Christine was Kody was like trapped at her house, and he was not really leaving. And the funny thing was, that also happened during the time that we were running out of toilet paper. Remember that last year we were running out of toilet paper, and that was the whole craziness? Thank God. I remember last year I ran to like a Walgreens and grabbed a couple rolls. That was freaking crazy. But I will say that was what was going on during this episode. And of course, what did Kody Brown do? Kody Brown used this as like an educational seminar on how to properly use toilet paper for your you-know-what. So I was just typical. I mean, that's what I'm telling you guys. Kody Brown sucks. But if you can film the Sister Wives show and use the fast forward button, so when all the boring stuff's going on, but then just skip it, you know, for that kind of stuff, but then you can watch it when Kody's rambling and babbling about God knows what, because he's actually kind of funny, because he's so crazy. So we got to see him talk about toilet paper. That was kind of entertaining. And Mariah and her fiance did make it to Flagstaff, thank God, so that was all good. Janelle was still starting to slowly but surely get a little bit more worried, a little bit here and there. So the whole episode was basically just Kody and the wives freaking just, you know, that was the dumbest thing. The funniest thing was they kept doing these Zoom calls, and the funniest freaking thing was they did like probably 4 of them. Well, 3 out of the 4, Kody was in his own screen, which I'm like, he's at one of their houses. Can't they Zoom together? Because he doesn't have his own separate house. I know he's with, I think he was with Christine. It's like Christine had her own Zoom, he had his Zoom. It's like, why did they just do it together? But the whole episode is basically them just Zooming together, and it was, you know, Kody trying to control everyone. It was Kody freaking out about God knows what, and at the end of the episode, Kody was saying that he feels like everyone's just throwing him around, and he can't make his own decision. We're just like, Kody, shut up! What in God's name are you talking about, Kody? You can make your own freaking decision. These ladies, first of all, Janelle does not give a crap about anything. I mean, Janelle, she can be a little opinionated, but honestly, Janelle, she keeps to herself, and she doesn't really say much, I don't think, at least. Christine, she kind of babbles, but it's never anything too serious. Same kind of thing with Robin, and Meri was just sitting there. So Kody was like, all of a sudden, they were kind of talking about Kody's schedule, kind of, which, honestly, it does affect them, because they are technically married to this idiot, but they were talking about his schedule, and then that's when Kody stood up, and he was like, wait, he kept saying the baton. He goes, we need to pass the baton, and all this stuff about, we need to share the time talking, and you need to stop talking, and I need to talk, and it's like, Kody, you need to freaking shut up. So he was going crazy. He wanted his attention, obviously, and that was his deal. He felt like everyone was tossing him around, which that was not even close to being the case. It was just another example of Kody Brown freaking out about absolutely nothing. So that was basically all we got to see in this episode. We got to see a preview for the next episode, and it looks just like more drama. I feel like what's going to happen, if I had to guess, is Kody was kind of freaking out about everything going on at first, but based on his social media, it looks like he doesn't care anymore. Honestly, if you go on his social media, he's posting stuff like he doesn't really care, he's kind of out and about, and so that's kind of interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that kind of all plays out and the twists and turns of all that kind of stuff. but it looks like it's more just pandemic craziness and all the whole family trying to organize it. And we do get to see that I think the governor or senator or whatever it was did put in place the stay-at-home order, which that happened. I think that happened in almost every. I think that happened in every state. I think so. In like, I don't even freaking remember. I didn't leave my house. I don't leave my house. Like today, for example, I have not left my house. I just don't leave my house to begin with. When all that stuff was happening, I wasn't being paid. I don't do anything anyway. I get in my car, go get, drive through. So I just completely went over my head, but I think the whole country was on stay. I don't even know. Either way, they were on a stay-at-home order. Cody was freaking out at that point, which is kind of like, for me, like I said, I sit inside my house all day. I don't even know the difference, but for some people, I guess if you like to go out, you kind of freak out. So Cody was clearly freaking out, and it looks like it does not get much better for him anytime soon. So guys, sister wives, I don't know what's going to happen with Cody. The one thing I will say is someone's going to freaking get it. Someone is going to get Rona. I don't know if it's going to be him. I don't know if it's going to be one of their kids, but someone is going to get it, and it's probably going to spread within the family because they have a gigantically huge family. Someone is probably going to get it. I would be shocked if they don't because there's so many people in the family, and it seems like the younger kids don't really care, and they're kind of still running around and whatnot. So either way, sister wives, crazy, actually surprisingly crazy episode. We got to hear Cody scream and rant and rave about a lot of crap, but still pretty good episode. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you are new to this channel, please hit that like button, hit the comments below, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. The share button is one big, beautiful, gorgeous button. And I don't know why I said if you are new, because if you are not new, if you are a subscriber, if you are just a follower, hey, please hit that like button too, and also the share button. I'm telling you guys, it is a beautiful button, and it looks even better when you press it. So hit that share button. I love you guys all so much, and y'all better stay tuned for many more videos.